Angelou. When you learn, teach, and when you get, give. Hey, welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones. Being an educator at heart, I'm dedicated to sharing conversations that inform and enlighten in the hopes that you learn something you may not have known. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. We have an awesome show for you tonight. I am so excited to bring this information to you. I live on Long Island in Wheatley Heights. I grew up in Central Islip. And one of the things that is so exciting about, the changes, I wasn't born on Long Island. I was actually born in North Carolina, and then we moved when I was 9 months old. So I'm not a native, but you might as well say I'm a native New Yorker, right? But one of the things that I love to kind of witness and be a part of is all of the changes that have been going on the island. So like I said, I grew up in Central Islip all my life, and the changes that have gone on in Central Islip are amazing. All of the businesses that have come to the area, between the courts and the new hotels and the shops and a college there as well. Just a lot of change. So one of the things we're going to be talking about today, or really the main thing we're going to be talking about today, is Wyandanch and Wyandanch Rising and all of the great things that are going on in the Wyandanch community. I remember when I was younger, I used to visit Wyandanch once in a while, and Wyandanch had a bad reputation and, a lot of things going on that were in a negative light. So today what we're going to do is we're going to put a positive spin on that and share with you all of the awesome and amazing things that are going on in Wyandanch. So first, what I want to do is we have a couple of things planned. I had the opportunity to do an on-location interview with Mr. Keith Banks. He's the owner and president of Sir Shave. So we did an on-location interview with him. We got to see the shop, and it was all hands on deck. All the Joneses were in the house. We had Jeremiah was there helping me, Marcus and Maya, they were also helping. They were the crew, so they mic'd us up. They took some B-roll. They, filmed what we were doing. Maya was in charge of the sound. So we had a really, really good time with the on-location interview, and we created, a great package. So we're going to be showing that in just a minute. But before we do that, we also want to bring some information to you in reference to how Wyandanch Rising, and that's the name of the project, how that got started. So we have some expert guests that are going to be joining us after we show the Sir Shave on location. Kerry Gollick-Goldberg, she's the Director of Communications and Programming for the Wyandanch Plaza Association. And we also have a longtime resident of Wyandanch. She's been living in Wyandanch for almost 45 years. She's a community advocate, and she really had a major role in helping the community really get this project off the ground. And there's a lot of players that come involved that are involved in a process like this. So we're going to be talking about that. So what we're going to do now is I want to show you our on-location interview with Mr. Keith Banks, the owner and president of Sir Shave. We're here with the owner and president of Sir Shave, Mr. Keith Banks. I want to thank you so much for having Conversations with Verdel Jones come to your shop. It is just gorgeous.
Thank you.
So thank you. I really want to kind of get a sense of, first of all, I want you to please tell people a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with opening a barbershop in Wyandanch, New York.
Well, it goes back to probably 1985, 1986, when my parents had a business here years ago, which is a beauty supply store, beauty salon, and also a record store. Mm-hmm. So once again, back in the 80s, things were different. Beauty supplies was a very bustling business for African Americans.
Right.
But the years are going by, and that kind of just went to the wayside.
Right.
So they started doing different things. So I just always said to myself, if I came back to Wyandanch or came into an area just looking to start a business, what would it look like? What would it feel like? So my focus is really finding something that would really bring the kids in, positive environment, role models, things of that nature there.
Exactly.
So the key was, finding a location. So my first thought was actually taking this to Brooklyn before coming to Long Island.
Really?
Yeah. The more I thought about it, because I'm from Westbury.
Okay.
Parents had a business here, like I said, back in the 80s. And I said, you know, if I go to Brooklyn, it's going to be a lot of competition there. No
Yeah,
question, hands
absolutely.
down. And there are shops that are very similar to this that are not African American shops, but just shops in general that more on the high end, and you know, Brooklyn Heights, you know, parts of Red Hook, things of that nature there.
Right.
Then once again, as I started doing my research, because I was planning on moving west from living in Patchogue, but then I heard about this project that's taking place in Wyandanch.
Right.
And they said something about Wyandanch Rising, which is probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So after doing research and just kind of waiting it out, and I said to myself, let me just give this a shot. So when I heard about the construction, you know, what their first plan was for phase 1, which is on the other side,
Right.
was going to be opening, I think it was going to be April of 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Or 15, whatever it was. And they said, well, there's a waiting list. But the waiting list is for either market rate or
Right.
income base. Naturally, I fell into the market rate space, and I said, you know something, let me just put the application through and see what happens. Long story short, I got a phone call. Mr. Banks, we've accepted your application. We're going to start, you know, move in on X date here.
Right.
But when I came to do the walkthrough, and I said, well, what's that on the ground level? What are you guys doing downstairs? Well, that's going to be retail space. I'm like, really? They said, yes. And I said, well, what stores are you planning on putting there? Well, we're still looking at different, you know,
Right.
looking at a possible 7-Eleven. You know, thinking maybe a Domino's may be coming back as well, but we're looking for other retailers. Long story short, again, did my research, once again, try to think what I want to put here. First, it was going to be a coffee shop. It was one of my ideas.
Oh.
Thinking of a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And I thought, yeah, exactly. Then I thought maybe a deli, something along those
Right.
lines there.
Right.
Right. So because, you know, I'm thinking about commuters, you know,
Right.
quick in, quick out.
Right. And a lot of people coming in and out,
Exactly.
spending money.
Exactly. So when I thought about that, but I said, well, what about the youth? What's going to really penetrate them
Okay.
to give them more time at a location versus grabbing a bag of chips or a cup of juice or running out, going somewhere?
Right.
So I said, what about a barbershop? Okay, because when you think of barbering back in the good old days, father comes in with the son,
Right.
they're relaxing, barber's having barber conversation,
That's right.
but they're engaged in a space with common people with common ideas and thoughts.
Right. So now, do you have any experience in the barbering area?
I couldn't cut a head if I wanted to. Okay, but once again, it goes back to my parents having the beauty salon. So I
Right.
watched them as far
Okay.
as how they manage staff and things of that nature. So it's one of those things, you know, to each one teach one.
Right. Okay.
So as kids, we watch and we mimic a lot of what our parents do,
Yes.
you know, and we say to ourselves, you know, is this the dream that I'm looking for? So even though it was the beauty salon, but it's still in that service-based industry. So I said that the barbershop, to me, made sense.
Made sense. And I'm happy you did, because you know, we belong to the Civic Association, the Wheatley Heights Civic Association, and we've been talking about Wyandanch Rising for a long time.
Okay.
And one of the things that always comes up are the shops that are coming to this plaza. So when, you know, you opened up your shop, you know, everybody was ecstatic about it, because we need more businesses to come to this area.
Right.
And I'm hoping that, and speaking of, you know, Wyandanch Rising and the revitalization that's going on, I'm hoping that more businesses will come once the project is finally complete. Have you heard anything about, you know, more shops coming in, or what do you think about the revitalization that's going on here?
What's great, I mean, it's fabulous when you see.
beautiful out
right,
there.
When you think of
It is
Wyandanch
beautiful.
years ago.
Right.
And I tell a lot of people, when you look at this kind of an investment in a community like Wyandanch, that has gone through a lot of struggles over the years,
Yes.
because I look back at Brooklyn, I look at Harlem, places that went some of those same growing pains, but now
Yes.
when you look at it today, the diversity there is just phenomenal.
Right.
So when you look at the investment that's been placed here, you
A
have to
lot.
say to yourself, you know, what can I do to be a part of this?
Right.
So when I look at, like I said, the barbershop, now we have a Domino's here, you have the 7-Eleven, you have the
Right.
beauty supply store here, you have the Island Jerk here.
Yes.
So it gives the youth the opportunity to see what small business looks like and how you can be a part of that.
Right.
And it goes back to, again, the each one teach one. So the barbers are mentors. My manager, Mr. Wells, who's a mentor as well,
Right.
and also an educator, who was also an administrator for many years.
Okay.
And me being in finance for the last 14 plus years, you know,
It's a
with
lot
my
of
company,
knowledge there.
it's a lot of knowledge that's here. So
Right.
we want the youth to come in and to leverage that. So when they say, you know, I have an idea, Mr. Banks or Mr. Wells, I want to start a business, you know, what do I need to do? So we work together with those youth. We're having different programs here, you know, entrepreneur programs. We're doing a lot of
wow.
workshops here.
Oh my God, that's
with
fabulous.
So you're utilizing the space not just for cutting. So either before the shop opens or after we close, there's always an event going on here.
Oh,
If it's
wow.
resume writing, we have a young lady that's going to be doing, you know, resume writing, you know, public speaking, you know, a lot of different things we want to utilize the space for,
Wow.
not just for cutting.
Oh, that's awesome.
right.
That is awesome. So what makes Sir Shave different from other barbershops? What, we'll talk about the concept a little bit, but what makes it different?
Customer service.
Okay.
It's really about that client satisfaction. Because once again, when you go into shops, it's always a certain look and a feel that we've been exposed to. It's just the way it's always been.
Right.
So my vision was really creating something when you walk in, you feel relaxed, you feel comforted, you feel at ease. So as soon as you walk in the door, the reason I called it Sir Shea was you walk in, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir, good evening, sir. You go into the waiting area, you get checked in there. We give you a glass of, water, juice, tea, whatever it is to relax. But it's about that experience. So even when you walk in, all the barbers are turning to you, and they're all saying good morning. We don't say hey, or we don't say yo. We just say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And so when the kids come in, that automatically triggers, this is different.
This is a little bit different.
This is different. Smiles on our faces, jazz music playing most of the time, maybe a little R&B, we'll kind of mix it up a little bit. But when a client comes in, we'll ask the client, what would you like to listen to? They'll choose that station for them. But once again, it's about that experience when they're in the shop to make them really feel special. So it's a red carpet effect. We're giving you the creme de la creme.
Yeah, which is nice, and that is very different.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So what type of services do you offer here?
Everything, from the hot towel shaves, shampoos for the men as well, manicures and pedicures for men and for women.
For men and women, okay.
Massages.
So ladies, you can come here too.
Yes, exactly. We have a massage therapist, Miss Thomas, so she is amazing, a licensed medical massage therapist, and her room's in the back here. So she does that for men and for women.
Full body?
Full body.
Nice, okay.
Full body, yes, okay. And like I said, then we have our retail products, so hats, which are very popular, our beer products as well. But the ladies, they get cuts as well. So we do cuts for ladies, as long as the hair is 8 inches or less.
Okay.
That's a standard. Yes, that's a barber rule.
That's a barber rule,
That's
okay.
a barber rule.
So you had to learn a lot about
the industry.
the industry, yeah. Right. So that brings me to the next question. How do you, because you work full time.
Absolutely.
Outside of your business.
Yes.
How do you juggle working full time and being able to run a successful business?
Time management, prioritizing your days.
Yeah.
So for me, my day starts at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
My dog wakes me up, take him for a walk, come back home, get ready, showered, check the laptop before I head to the office, because I'm a field specialist in corporate finance. So I'm on the road all day long. And my office is in Jericho, but I can be in Rockland County, I can be in Manhattan, I can be in Connecticut. So I'm on the road all day long for the most part.
Okay.
So to that point is that, it's really about managing your time and prioritizing your day.
Right.
And delegating. Okay,
delegation is big.
And that's a key thing. And having a staff that you can trust, that understands your vision and your purpose, because it's a win-win for us all.
Right,
so when you look at the end of the day, it's a lot of work, no question, hands down. But for me, it's worth it because it's really about the community. So being that mentor, being that beacon of light for the students and the kids, or even the adults that are looking to start a business, to say, if he can do it, he's 5 feet tall, little bitty thing, we can do it as well.
Right.
And this is working together, that's the important thing.
It is. Yeah. So what are some of the challenges that you faced since opening up? And when did you guys open up?
This is going to be our 4th month.
Oh, wow, okay. Oh, wow. And a lot going on.
A lot, exactly. So,
okay.
So the challenge is really about, is understanding that this is new.
Right.
We're not 4 years, we're 4 months. So we challenge ourselves to recognize that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
We're going to have these hurdles, these stumbling blocks as we go, but that's how we learn.
Right.
You have to fail a couple of times to understand that you're moving in the right direction. So, nothing was, it wasn't handed to me. This wasn't given on the silver platter. I had to work for this.
Right.
So my important thing is letting the staff to understand that we work together, we win together. And client satisfaction has got to be the most important thing, because that's the key thing.
Absolutely.
So,
It'll keep people coming back.
Yeah, and they refer others.
That's right. That's right. So, like, what type of barbers do you have? You talked about the massage therapist. That's outstanding. So, what type of, what should they expect when they come to Sir Shave?
They should expect falling asleep in the chair.
Okay.
They're going to get pampered from head to toe.
Okay.
Because the barbers are master barbers. Okay. So in their own right, they understand client satisfaction in that experience. So the client comes in, once again, they get greeted, they'll get something to drink before they get into the chair. Once they're in the chair, they are at the mercy of these barbers to basically do the right thing. And it's about the scalp massage, it's the facial treatments, it's the hot towel shave, the steam that's a part of that shave as well.
Nice.
Once a client is back up in the chair upright, they take him, he gets a shampoo.
Okay.
They come back, but it's really about having conversation as well. So it's really, when the client is in that chair and they're having a dialogue, it could be about music, it could be about law, it could be about politics, it could be about finance, it could be about the kids going off to college. But having a discussion when they walk out, they want to come back for more. Okay, because once again, that barber is learning from that client, and vice versa, depending on the situation.
Right.
So it's having that conversation. So when you walk out, you feel like this is a positive, moment. You walked out decompressed, no stress, your hair's let down. So I mean, the clients love it,
right?
Because there's no profanity in our shops, and the barbers understand when a person is sitting in a chair and they slip the tongue. Excuse me, sir. We don't do that here.
Right, nice.
And the customers respect that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
when the mother's coming with the kids,
right, exactly,
exactly.
Sure right. Sometimes I usually never really brought my son to the barbershop, but when I did, I felt a little bit uncomfortable.
Right, exactly.
Going to the shop, so that's great.
And a lot of mothers tell us that, which is important. They're looking for that.
Right, absolutely. So can you please tell everyone where they can find Sir Shave, the location, and to make sure that they get here to check out Sir Shave?
Yeah, it's 10 Station Drive. We're Unit 7 in Wyandanch Village. They call it the new Wyandanch Village. We're right next door to the T-Mobile.
Okay.
So you can definitely see the sign from right out the front. There's barber flags throughout the entire area.
Right.
And one other thing that we're planning on doing is we're working with the MTA to potentially put that shoe shine station on the platform. So when clients are coming through, they're going to get a shoe shine right there at the station as well.
That is nice. That is nice. Do you get a lot of clients from the train?
We get quite a bit of commuters.
Nice.
Right. Quite a bit, which is a great thing.
That is awesome. Yeah, this is a great location.
Yeah,
great location.
The traffic is great. The commuters are looking for that type of service.
Absolutely.
Because when they get into Manhattan, they're going to get it there. Why not get it before they get on the train?
Exactly.
And that's what they like, is the convenience of it.
So this was so great. It was so nice speaking with you and learning more about you and your shop and what's going on. I love the fact that you have events going on here. So I want to thank you so much for being on Conversations with Verdel Jones.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Really
really do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching Conversations with Verdel Jones. Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I hope you enjoyed my on-location interview with Mr. Keith Banks of Sir Shave. Just an awesome place, a wonderful man, doing a lot for the community. And speaking of community, we have two special guests here to talk about the Wyandanch Rising project. And it's just, as I mentioned earlier before we showed the Sir Shave tape, it's just exciting to see all the things that are going on. So what I want to do is introduce our guests. We have Kerry Gollick-Goldberg. She's the Director of Communications and Programming for the Wyandanch Plaza Association. We also have Phyllis Henry here. She's a community advocate and a longtime resident of Wyandanch. I think you said 45 years.
45 years.
45 years. So I want to give everybody like a sense of who you are and your background and how you kind of played into, helping the development of Wyandanch Rising. So Phyllis, we'll start with you.
I'll try to make it very brief.
Okay.
I started getting into advocacy in the community when I realized that our street was not getting paved. And in order to get our street paved, we had to get a certain percentage of homeowners to sign on the dotted line saying that they wanted it. And since we had a lot of rentals, I actually got the homeowners to come and sign it. And then town had no choice but to start paving the road. So, but after that, as time went on, we could see that Wyandanch really wasn't doing a lot for itself.
Right.
And, with PTA and the school board and different things that I got involved in, I had said to people, Wyandanch is in the middle of the island.
That's right.
It's between north and south, east and west. We've got Deer Park Avenue going north and south. We've got Wall Whitman Road, Broad Hollow going.
110.
We've got the expressway. We got Northern State. We got Sunrise Highway. We got 25. We got 27. And actually Wyandanch is considered an area in case of a catastrophe. That's the place you need to go.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know that. So talking with a couple of people, and one of the persons that felt the same way I felt was Delano Stewart.
Okay.
And he started talking about, well, there's really nothing much that we have in the community.
Right.
And my take was, well, you can take the bulldozer and just bulldoze everything down and start all over again. Back in the late, I want to say 1999, 2000, he started getting a little steam, and he invited the then supervisor of the town of Avalon
Okay.
to talk about.
And who was that at the time?
That was Steve Ballone.
It was Steve Ballone. Okay.
And talk about what would the town do to revitalize. Then he got the community together and said, "What would you like to see in a town? What would you like? Restaurants? You want this? You want that?" And then he called the business owners in, and so he had 3 separate days that he did this, and they talked about doing it. At that time, we were fighting with the U.S. government or the Postal Service about the new post office, and that eventually got built in there. And then, for whatever reason, people weren't taking Delano seriously.
Now, who is Delano? So
Delano
everybody
Stewart.
understands.
Delano Stewart is a longtime resident who passed away a year and a half ago.
Oh,
that
wow.
was an advocate in the community, and he really had a vision of what Wyandanch could be. And then, because of the powers to be, Steve Ballone started talking about it and started getting some steam. Steve Israel came in, and he was talking about the different things that we could do. And then we talked about the sewers, because in order to have a downtown, you needed to have the sewers. And that's what started all of this. And then the money started, and the grants, and the federal government, and what we know now as Wyandanch Village, and what's going on in the community.
Right. So it started with a paved road.
With me, it started with a paved road.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So, Kerry, what is your involvement? A little bit of your background and how you got involved with, the Wyandanch Plaza Association.
I was very lucky to have an opportunity to meet the master developer.
Okay.
And I was brought in with another marketing firm, and really felt that one of the important things was getting all the positive stories out into the media about what was going on in Wyandanch. And honestly, I think it's been about 6 years, maybe 7 years since I was welcomed into the community. So the community groups are just fantastic. One of the first groups I got involved with was the Wyandanch Community Resource Center. Okay. And at the time, before she was an assemblywoman, Kimberly Jean-Pierre was there.
Okay.
And Felicia Moss, who then worked for the county. And they really kind of, welcomed us. They knew what the goal was, and what we started doing was just sharing with Newsday. This is a positive thing. Here's another positive thing. Okay, we're going to do, I've been there since before the first shovel was put in the ground. So we had a beautiful community event for that. And I think just seeing the new buildings, seeing the quality of construction that Albany's has done, and the fact of the matter is the community wanted this. It was something that was planned by the community. So the whole goal really is, what does the community want? And what can, who do I know that we can help bring in? And, it's been very exciting. We were able to start the Wyandanch Plaza Association.
Okay.
So that's technically a 501c3 charity. And what we do is we do a lot of free programming in the community. So this year it was very exciting this summer because after a successful year of what we call Reading Round the Plaza, we actually were able to work with Smart Start Suffolk.
Okay.
Obviously, with Steve Ballone's baby, and it's that was something that it was very important to him that the schools and that the children actually had exposure to reading over the summer, so they didn't have that summer slide. And they were terrific. So we actually got all the books that were required reading this summer. And then every Saturday at noon, children would come and they'd get read to, both in English and in Spanish.
Oh, that's great.
And then we would do arts and crafts projects and read with them. The real focus of the Wyandanch Plaza Association is to bring arts and culture into the community. You know, here it is, it's a transit-oriented community, and there's such vibrancy that's happening, and the stores that are opening, and it's just every time something new comes to the community, it's another, the community just loves it and embraces
exciting.
it.
It really is
It's
exciting.
very exciting.
It really, really
and I
is.
honestly just feel that I'm very fortunate to be a part of the whole thing. You know, and my original career, I was a teacher.
Oh, okay.
And I was a
Right, that's
teacher
right, you
in
said that.
Hollis.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I honestly love working with the kids. I love working with the community. And
Perfect.
I consider myself very blessed.
Perfect fit. So from what I'm hearing, it was really a grassroots effort that kind of snowballed into something,
definitely.
you know, this big project. And you mentioned the sewers. I remember when Straight Path was being dug up, and you know, once you know once you see a lot of money going into infrastructure, you know that there are big plans for the area. I guess my question is, you know, from your perspective, being involved in, you know, with the community and getting this going, why do you think the money was put into this project? I mean, because Albanese got on board. The Albanese is the developer of the program. What was the draw? Was it because of what you said, the location, like?
Location had a lot to do with it, because, and not only that, but when they're trying to develop other communities along the rail, going from Manhattan out to Ronkonkoma,
like Farmingdale. Farmingdale is
it's gorgeous in Farmingdale.
It really is.
But the thing about it is what they did is Farmingdale is the blighted area they were able to take away and rebuild in that area. But there are other communities that have the resistance in building. No, you're not going to tear this down. You're not going to move this. We're not going to move. Oh no, I want a lot of money for this. But there was really nothing there that we that anybody would say they're going to miss it.
And one of the other things that I love about the project is people weren't displaced.
No.
You know, which I thought was brilliant, because in some instances, you know, with gentrification, you see all that, you know, happening in Brooklyn. People are displaced because they can't afford to live in those areas, but no one was displaced. It was all commercial, I guess, property. I mean, well, like, I don't know. Domino's, right?
Domino's is back.
Right.
The
Island Jerk is back.
Island Jerk is back.
That's right.
I mean, come on, those were the holdouts.
Exactly.
They wanted to, you know.
Okay. Those were the holdouts. Okay.
Yeah, they wanted to say, well, where are we gonna move?
Right.
And
now
they
they're
moved.
back.
And now they're back.
And honestly, it was really important to the developer to let the community understand that the whole goal was to help the people of Wyandanch and the surrounding communities.
Absolutely.
You know, so the fact of the matter is there's so many original Wyandanch residents who actually do live at Wyandanch Village.
Right, which is gorgeous.
You know, and we're so fortunate. We have people who work within the school district who live there. We have people from the surrounding communities who sold their houses, retired, and decided they wanted a quick commute to the city.
Right.
It's also a great way to keep young adults, because this way they have an easy commute to the city, or into Queens, or you know. So it's really been a very rewarding experience.
Right, and
I
it
think
seems
for
like
everybody.
It seems it's very well planned out and thoughtful, because we do have an issue with our young people leaving. You know, that how can they afford to live, you know, on Long Island? So it was really. I love the concept behind it, trying to keep our young people here affordable.
And yet beautiful, too.
And
like, I don't know if you've walked through the apartments.
I have not. Oh, you know what? I have a couple of pictures of the apartment. Bobby, can you show a apartment? I think there's 2 pictures of the apartments. They are gorgeous.
Apartments are beautiful.
They're stock photos, but I mean, you can get a sense of how beautiful
and
they are.
those were all taken of the model unit.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's really what it is.
Yeah, gorgeous.
You know, they're gorgeous.
Yes.
I love the furnishings.
And actually, what I loved about the furnishings is that the company that did the decorating used furniture that real people could afford.
Okay.
They went to Crate and Barrel. They went to
Okay.
IKEA.
Right.
They went to Home Goods. They
Right.
went to all of, they went to Raymore and Flanagan's. They went
Right.
to every normal place that a
That people
person
can
would
go.
go.
Right,
You
exactly.
weren't walking into an apartment in Wyandanch and having a place decorated, with Neiman Marcus.
Right.
And you walked in, you're like, oh, I totally want that table. And you
Exactly.
could go and buy that table. Yeah, you could go buy the table.
Right. Can I rent this furnished?
Exactly. One of the things I also wanted to say, because we were talking about Delano Stewart,
Right.
is that within the past year, the plaza has been named the Delano Stewart Plaza.
I
yes.
saw. Yeah. Now
So
I
he
get it.
was
Yes.
honored by the
Okay.
community
Now I
to
get
have
it.
that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And actually, there's a beautiful plaque up about
Yes.
him in the plaza.
Okay, yeah, it's a beautiful space. In the video with Mr. Banks, we got some shots of the plaza, and I mean his shop is
state of the art.
it's
He did an
so
incredible job.
nice. It's
Yes.
what a vision, So when did the first build? Just for a timeline sake, when was the first building actually completed? Around when was that? Was it 2015, 16? I don't remember.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was like
you
it was
put me on
a
the spot
couple.
with the
It was,
date.
I know with the date. I know you
I
said
told
that,
you
right?
no dates.
It's been a few years.
It definitely
And-
has.
and-
Few years,
But we're
yes.
building the third
And
building.
you're building- right.
That's
Yeah.
and that's
Exactly.
really the most important thing. So, the first buildings we built was 40 Station Drive.
40, right.
Then 10 Station Drive. Now both of those buildings are multi-use. So you've got residents on the top and you've got storefronts on the bottom.
Right.
The third building is actually all
All
residential.
residents. Okay. Okay.
And I want to say that the CDC of Long Island mentioned that there is, we're hoping for a bunch of veterans to live there,
Oh,
as well
wow.
as
Oh, that's
others.
great.
So I think there's some preference given
Okay.
for some
For
veterans, which is really
okay.
important.
Which is it's amazing. I mean, what has been the community? I guess, feedback from
that's-
all the.
that's a
yeah,
Phyllis-
I mean,
that's a
really,
Phyllis question.
I know.
I mean,
what is-
because the houses in Wyandanch are starting to go up in cost. So, that
Nice.
and a lot of this, from what I understand, is the zombie houses are being sold, and people, it's not for rent. I mean, people used to rent everything in
Right, everything,
Wyandanch,
right,
but now that there's a different feel, people want to own. They want to live in the houses. They
Right.
want to be a part of the community. And once they start on the other side of the tracks, people say, "What are you going to do
So
behind
south?
the post?"
Oh, yes.
south of
There's
behind
plans.
the post office.
They're
that
gonna
whole
be
area.
beautiful.
Wow.
Those are going to be townhouses to own. not rental.
No.
Yes.
People are asking
Yes.
to buy.
Really?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and that's one of the questions because when the project first started to happen, I belong to Civic Association in Wheatley Heights, and I mean it's right there. That was one of the things. Well, what type of residence will this be? So it was mostly it's rental now, and we
Yes.
were wondering about the home ownership. So that's very exciting.
Yes.
I
That's
have to
very
tell you,
exciting.
I know people always say things about rental units and things, but it's been incredible.
Yeah.
We have actually. I was thanking one of the residents last night because it must have been about 9 o'clock that I was leaving Wyandanch Village, and I noticed one of the residents with a huge garbage bag. Just going around picking up whatever. She happened to be walking her dog,
Right.
and she figured while she was walking her dog,
might
if
as
she
well.
saw something,
Right.
That's
and
right.
I'll be honest with you, you go there for any of our activities, which in the summer Saturdays are the most important, and around this time of year we do some Friday night.
Okay.
Events.
Okay.
So, like, actually, this Friday night, if you don't mind me giving a little
Okay.
plug,
Oh, yeah,
we
definitely.
are celebrating Hispanic heritage.
Okay.
And we do have Soleil Sombra
Okay.
coming, and they are going to be doing a lot of dancing.
Oh, nice.
So not only will they do a performance, there'll be also a tutorial afterwards,
Oh,
which
nice.
is a lot of fun. And honestly, everybody in Wyandanch loves the tutorials because they can get up and dance. And then for the children, afterwards, probably about 8 o'clock when the sun goes down, we will have Coco
Okay.
playing, which
okay.
is wonderful.
Coco was so good.
Yeah, and those movie nights are fantastic. And
That
actually,
movie was awesome.
and we
Yeah.
work with a local Wyandanch resident who has a business and brings in the largest screen you've ever seen,
Oh, that's
blows it up,
great.
and
yes.
kids come out in their pajamas and on their blankets,
That's
and
awesome.
we give snacks and whatever, and it's honestly, it's very sweet.
I love this community feel. You know, it's just so. I went to an event in the winter. Bobby, can we show the skating 1, 2, 3?
Oh, yeah. That was
I
phenomenal.
mean, I was almost in tears, like literally, because it was to see
Yes.
my community out there skating and enjoying it, and just
Surya Bonale.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. I
but-
missed
but-
her, but
I
she was so
Oh, my
wonderful.
but I
goodness.
mean, it was it warmed my heart. It was just such a good feeling to. I mean, look at all the people out of there. It was so good. It was
And
such
pictures
a
with
great,
Santa Claus and everything else. I mean, that was.
Oh, not to mention the adults jumping in the blow-up snow globe.
Snow globe with the kids
with
them
everybody
jumping in
bouncing, and there were all the adults were in there.
I'm like,
You know,
oh my goodness.
but it was just such a great feeling, you know, going from a McDonald's leaving Wyandanch to
Oh, yes.
right.
Oh,
I mean, nobody closes a McDonald's.
It's never been heard of. Nobody closes it.
to this, I mean, I was just in awe, and it's just, you know, a lot of times we don't get the opportunity to thank the people who are on the ground and doing the work that you both do, and on behalf of those individuals, I just want to say thank you.
I mean,
Thank you, because it just makes you feel really good when you have such a community, you know, come together and, you know, in a positive way. So I want to say thank you very much.
honestly, I feel very blessed. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know who gets more out of this.
Right.
You know?
the good thing about it was when the vision was delivered, basically, it wasn't about their vision,
Right.
what
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
wanted.
Right.
Steve Ballone did a implementation committee,
Okay.
which was made up of businesses, stakeholders,
Right.
community people, people who had businesses. What is it that you want to see in this community?
Right.
And invited them all to come in.
They
and
had a seat at the table.
we are.
Right.
We're the seat at the
Yeah,
table.
right. You were
beginning.
the table. Right.
We are.
That's
We
right.
are.
That's right. Which is great, because these are really things that you know, impact the community in such a positive way. And when you have all the stakeholders there, you want to make sure that it's successsul, you know, because you have some skin in the game, you know. So
Right, and
it's
the
just-
community picked the master developer.
Okay.
Yes.
So you had people who kind of pitched what they would
They
do.
came
or-
in, right, and they said,
Okay.
this is our rendition of what it is that
Okay.
we want, that we think that you want. And then they walked around and said, oh no, we would prefer this rather than that. And it was an actual visioning plan where we had
Okay.
a couple of hundred people
Wow.
to look at it all and say, this is, yes, no, I don't think that would work. So
Right.
we did have
really
a
had that
say
input.
in
That's
what
awesome.
it was.
That's awesome. So speaking of plans,
Yeah.
What we're really focused on is the YMCA,
right,
as well
okay.
as
the health center.
the health
As the health center, yes, I
moving
did.
in.
I
So that'll
saw
be
that
the
somewhere,
fourth
right.
building.
Okay.
And then another exciting thing is that where the parking garage is, there will
parking
be
garage.
some senior housing. So there's a
Wrap
lot
around on
right
the other
now.
side, on the
yeah.
north side, yes.
So there's so much stuff, and honestly, everything I tend to focus on
Right.
has to do with kids.
Kids
has
in the
to do with
community,
the
right.
community.
Right.
And so really, that's where
Right.
my head has been.
So and then you said south of the train tracks, there's going to be more development there.
More
Definitely.
development
which
there.
you know, and
Definitely.
that is a concern. But what about south of the?
And it's all going to, you know, follow through and link with the what is it? The smart. Having to do with the walking trails and different things with Geiger Lake, and that's all part
wow.
of all.
Oh no,
all
there's
part
a
of it.
huge
Oh, yeah.
plan. The
It's
town
a
of
plan.
Babylon has been
They are really great. They
incredible.
really have been.
Really
yes. I
incredible.
agree. I used to live in the town of Islip. I mean, I love my hometown, Central Islip, but the town of Babylon really
And
does
everything
a lot
they
of
do
great
is
things.
beautiful.
It really,
I mean, you know,
it really is. I just
really
I love
gorgeous.
it. I
And
love
we're
it.
very fortunate with all the people that work for the town.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great place. It really is. Our children work for the town through the internships that they have
Oh,
with
sure.
Jackie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm on that committee too.
Well,
The UGMA
yeah,
program.
And they
That
both
is,
went through that program,
it's
and they had such an
phenomenal.
awesome experience. So it's things like that, you know, and I understand what you're saying. It's about the community, but it's about the children. It's about, you know, showing them, you know, something positive. And when I was talking to Mr. Banks, he was kind of mimicking the same thing, which is really nice that you have an individual who he lives in the apartments there. He wants to help the community. So you have a business owner who is really kind of tapped into the community.
He's vested.
Yeah,
oh my
right.
goodness,
Exactly.
totally invested in it.
It's really great that you know that you see that kind of a thing.
And I do want to let you know, again, one of the things that I always feel I have to thank is the media, because the media, especially Newsday, News 12, they've been really, really good. Long Island Business News.
Okay.
They have been amazing with sharing the good
Right.
stories.
Right.
And I don't know if Keith mentioned, but he was a cover story on the home section of Newsday. So
I, as a matter of fact, in the package we did, I have that picture of him looking out, you know, onto the plaza, which is
but
really
again, another beautiful thing.
Yeah,
you know?
it really is. It really is. So, what type of you mentioned the the event that's coming up? What other things do you have planned for the plaza? You know, in the fall and the winter.
Oh well, we have we always do a Halloween event.
Okay.
Where the kids can do a Halloween parade. We have lots of tents, lots of food to give out, lots of candy. We have so it's a safe trick-or-treating option, which is really nice, because
it really is.
Assemblywoman Kimberly Jean-Pierre does a trunk or treat, which is another really safe option. So we try to make sure that a few of us have safe Halloween options, so that the kids get a few opportunities, which is really nice. But I love anything that's arts and crafts oriented, and plus we bring all sorts of things. I mean, it's just a great experience. You're more than welcome to come.
Yeah.
But also, the big thing is when the skating rink is going to open.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're looking at December 1st.
Okay, December 1st will be the
So we're looking
opening
at that
date.
for the opening.
And
we have a lot of surprises, so I'm not going to
okay,
share
no,
these.
right, okay. you can call me and give me the exclusive, and maybe I can announce it, you know, on the show. Now, in reference to the rentals, how does one go about, because I know there's market, and then there's, you know, like
a
income,
lottery.
Right, a lottery. So how do people go about finding out information about that?
Well, if they go on the website, there is a number.
And what's the it's Wyandanch Village?
Wyandanch Village.
Okay, wyandanchvillage.com.
Yeah,
okay.
so if you go on the website, there's phone numbers that they can reach out to. They can always call the CDC of Long Island if they have any additional questions. They can call over to our leasing office. But all that information is on the website.
Okay, because I know.
And there's a Facebook page for both Wyandanch Village, and then if you would like to know about the activities, the Facebook page is wyandanchplaza.org.
Okay. One of the things that also kind of was interesting, it seems like there was a lot of different moving pieces to the project. Long Island Railroad, they, you know,
they outdid
the
themselves.
train station.
Have you
beautiful.
seen that?
Can you show the train station?
It's gorgeous.
I mean, this is the inside. This is you know, a picture that I got online, and it is that space is amazing. It really is gorgeous.
Now, have you seen it? Have you gone? Because the lighting, the light fixtures, everything is fantastic.
It is top notch. When of course, when all this construction is going on, it's a headache. Right. You know, my kids take the train and they're like, oh, I got to run to the front or the back or whatever so I can make sure I can get on the right spot. But when they, you know, I mean, they're done basically. Right. And we caught the train. We were going to the city, and I was just staring, looking around, like I can't even remember what was there.
I do.
That's beautiful.
I do.
I can't even remember what was there.
And now with the second track, oh my goodness, it's phenomenal.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It is really unbelievable. How did Long Island Railroad play a part in the planning process? Was that something that happened after or in conjunction with, or?
Well, The railroad is the railroad, and they just basically
Right.
did what they're supposed to do on
Yes.
for the railroad.
Okay.
And they're responsible for, you know, the platforms and different things. Anything beyond that, they're not responsible for.
Okay.
So when it came down to the station itself,
Right.
that went out for several bids.
Okay.
And it was always, well, what you want, you don't have the money for it.
Okay.
And we went out again. What you want, we don't have the money for. So finally it was like, okay, well, we'll have to make it a lot smaller and scale it down.
Okay.
And what had happened was, I don't know if I'm giving away secrets, what had happened was Cuomo heard and said,
Oh.
oh, no, we can't have that. We did all of this and we're going to
We're
build
gonna do this?
that?
Right.
He goes, oh, no, we'll find some way to build it to the state of the art.
Oh,
So this
okay.
is the newest train station in the last 50 years on Long Island.
You said 50?
50. State of the art. I mean, it is
gorgeous.
phenomenal.
It is gorgeous.
I want to share that there are some businesses, if there's, you know, anybody out there who really wanted to become a franchisee, either of sort of a UPS type
Okay.
shipping and
Okay.
printing type store, or really anything else, there are quite a few businesses that are approved for Wyandanch Village.
Okay,
But
okay.
obviously you can't enter into a situation where you don't have a franchisee. So
Okay.
if anybody wants to take a chance, they can actually feel free to call over to Albany's and say, look, I would love to do this. And
Okay,
there are
that's great information.
opportunities. So it's not just opportunities to live there, it's opportunities to work there.
And right.
And
okay.
hopefully soon to play there.
Right.
So,
exa-
you know,
and
'cause you
that's
can
right,
play.
and that's the
Yes.
goal. I mean, I'm looking for. I need a Dunkin' Donuts. I need. You know,
Well, you got 7-Eleven.
I have 7-Eleven. That's
Because
true.
that's their coffee.
I know.
They've got their coffee.
That's very true. Panera, something. I don't know.
That's what I wanted. I wanted it went right in the middle of the
Chipotle,
one of the,
I don't know.
I wanted that in
Right.
the plaza.
Right, and every time
know.
you know.
We want a store, an ice cream store.
Oh, that would be nice.
Would be
Yeah,
very
frozen
nice.
yogurt, something.
And you know what? If you do like Hershey's or something, then you can sell other items. It doesn't have to
Okay.
be like an exclusive
Okay.
to anything else. So just putting it out
Just
there. If
putting out-
anybody has a sweet tooth,
That's right.
you know, it might be something that we, you know.
And you know, and one of the things that, and I was sharing this with Mr. Banks also, is, you know, the project is really, I mean, a lot of it is completed already, and I'm hoping that with the station done and everything, more businesses will come, you know, to, you know, to
Yes.
There's
it's a
so much
gold
interest.
mine.
Yeah, but the thing is,
There's so much
I mean,
interest.
on the
Yeah.
south side itself,
Mm,
you know, I mean, the only thing that's anchoring across from the
Right.
health center is the post office.
Is the post
Other
office.
than that, everything
There's-
around it is pretty much gone, and
Right,
eventually
right.
the resource center is going to locate to another.
right, okay.
Right.
So I mean,
Okay.
when you think about that whole area and where MLK is,
Right,
there's a vision with that as well.
Okay. Wow.
So this is not stopping
No.
with that. I mean,
Not
this is
anytime soon.
expanding.
Not anytime soon.
Oh
It's
no!
exciting.
Oh
It's
no!
exciting
You
to
can't
see
build
it all
any more
happen.
land.
That's right. You
All
got to
right.
work with what you got.
And honestly, I really consider it being in the heart of Long Island.
It is.
Because
It's
if
the
you
middle of the
really
middle
look,
of the island.
Yeah, it's the middle of the middle of the island.
It's the middle
So
of the
it
middle.
is the heart of
It
Long
really,
Island.
really is. Yeah. So, and it's just exciting, exciting things. Are there any plans to use the LIRR station for any events as well, either through, you know, in conjunction with, you know, the Wyandanch Plaza Association, or?
You know what? It hasn't officially opened yet.
Okay.
So because of that, you know, actually,
Okay.
I wouldn't be aware yet.
Okay.
No, I
okay. Because
haven't
that's
heard
You know, and there's
Everything
also
else.
a
It
lot
is
of, you know,
gorgeous.
but there's always liability issues, things
True.
like that.
Okay.
But that's sort of above my pay grade.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, because that's a beautiful space. I mean, it really is.
it
I mean, I
is.
just see, you know, visions of carolers and tree lightings and all that. and all of
Well,
that
I'm in
there.
charge of the tree lighting.
Okay, there
Tree
you go.
lighting is
Okay.
south,
Okay.
and the tree lighting is south of the railroad.
Down the
track.
rail. Okay.
So we may do a
oh,
holiday party.
Okay.
But
Yes.
we do not do a tree lighting.
Okay.
Tree lighting is
That's
We've been
south.
doing
Strictly
tree lighting.
Phyllis.
Yes,
Strictly Phyllis.
Yeah.
All I do is bring hot chocolate.
Chocolate. She brings the hot chocolate.
and you bring the lights.
I bring the lights.
Exactly.
And
Or the fire department
brings
brings
the
the
lights. It's going to be the every year it's the first Thursday after Thanksgiving, and I think
Oh,
that's,
okay. Okay.
it's still going to be in the month of November this year.
Oh, because of where Thanksgiving falls. Okay.
Yes, but it's always, and we're the first one in the town of Babylon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and every
love it.
year
I
it gets
love it.
bigger and bigger.
Bigger
Yeah.
and bigger.
Which is really nice.
The tree gets bigger and bigger.
Well, I am looking forward to all of the things that are going on and continue to go on, and I'll be sure to, people out there, make sure you, go to the Town of Babylon website. I'm sure
The Wyandanch Plaza
Wyandanch
Association.
Plaza
Yes,
Association website to get the latest and greatest of what's going on, because it takes all of us to kind of come together to make this thing what it should be and what
Yes.
it could be. So I want to thank you
Really,
so much.
honestly, we
for-
have the community
Yes,
to thank.
we
We have
did-
Town
right.
of Babylon to thank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Suffolk County to
definitely,
thank.
yes.
And the state. I mean, everybody, it's really,
They really pulled it
They
together.
really pulled
They
it
saw the
together.
vision.
Yeah, and this was back in 2000 and
We did
like
the-
ot 2 or something, right?
2002. In fact, I came across
Right.
some paperwork this afternoon going through my files
Right.
with 2003. How we were
Yeah.
really working on it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know,
It's
and then
awesome.
once the concept got approved, and it boom, it was
Boom
there.
after that. So I want to show people the contact information for Mr. Keith Banks, because we definitely want you to support Sir Shave. That's his website there, and all the contact information. Support him. He's going to be doing community events and things like that. So we want you guys to really know about those things. And I'll be posting things on Conversations with Verdel Jones as well, Facebook page and my personal page, Verdel Jones. The other thing I want to share with everyone is that on October 4th, we're going to have Luba Gretchen Shirley. She is running for Congress in the New York 2nd District. Her website's there, but she's going to come here and answer some questions. So if you guys have questions, she's running against Peter King for Congress. Peter King has been a long time congressman in our area. So we're going to hear from Luba and get to talk to her. So I'm really, really excited about her coming. So make sure you tune in for that.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
This was awesome. I
This was
like I said,
great.
I think I got some inside scoop here too.
You might have.
I think I might have. So I want to thank you again. Like I shared just a little bit ago, people who are hitting the ground running and in the trenches and doing the work and just helping out our community. I just thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for watching Conversations with Verdel Jones, and we will see you next time.